We have finally made it to the final team preview ahead of the 2025 football season. Here on episode 53, we are going to be covering all things NFC West. As always, my name is Connor Swanson, and I am joined by someone who just makes everyone around them better. Of course, that being Vinny Martin. Vinny, how are you
Wow.
doing today on this fine, still morning here at 11:30?
Still morning. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm great. That's a great thing to hear in the morning. You know, when kind of right when you wake up, just hear a nice compliment like that. Kind of just gets your day started on the right foot.
Yeah,
Even
man.
though we already recorded an episode and already been talking for like an hour, but
Still.
still it was great. So Connor, thank you for that. Thank you for the intro, and we finally made it. Four more teams left to cover, and that of course being the NFC West. So if any fans of the NFC West teams, we are finally getting to your team. We're going to talk about it today and offer our extremely intelligent insight and knowledge about the sport of football and put it towards these four teams. So,
Yeah.
Connor, you're leading us off today. You're the leadoff hitter, so that's
Yep.
always good. You know, you got your speed. So why don't you show us what a leadoff hitter can do and tell us about the 49ers?
Yeah, we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers, the team that surprisingly finished last place
Yeah.
in the division a season ago with a 6-11 record, which really I think a lot of it came down to injuries. And that's what a lot of people look to and blame. Obviously, CMC being the biggest thing. He couldn't get healthy at all throughout the season. He was out all year. And then the rest of the team just couldn't figure it out really. Defensively, there were injuries. I mean, it just wasn't a good season for the 49ers overall. Kyle Shanahan going into year number 8 now. He's a fun coach to watch. I always think he's pretty calm and cool and collected, but then you'll watch the big play happen. He gets fired up really quick. I think he really loves the game. He loves the team, and I think he is one of the better coaches in the NFL, in my opinion. Brock Purdy going into hopefully what's going to be a bit of a bounce back season here. Hopefully things are a little more normal, so to speak, because you're going to have CMC there. Kittle's going to be there. The wide receiver room, we'll talk about that a little bit later. There's still some question marks there, but still, Brock Purdy should be all right. Hopefully, he can do a bit better this year. In the draft, they took a defensive lineman, Michael Williams, out of Georgia, a guy that should come in, fill into that interior defensive line right away. Also added a defensive tackle in the second round out of Texas, Alfred Collins. So both of those guys should fill in and likely be day one starters for this team. If not, definitely guys who are going to see the field a ton. In free agency, only two real moves, right? They added defensive end Bryce Huff in a trade from Philadelphia. So he comes in and he'll be a very good pass rusher for this team. And then they added some depth behind Brock Purdy and quarterback Mac Jones, Patriots legend. Departures, who they lost, wide receiver Deebo Samuel. They traded him to Washington. We'll see how he does. Very different appearance this year. But, don't count him out just yet, Vinny.
We mentioned on another episode that he did get a little bit chunky.
Just a little bit.
That's
just a
not the
tad bit.
49ers problem anymore. So
Yeah, no, they don't have to worry about that anymore.
don't have
They'll
to
have
get
other
into it.
receiver problems to worry about. But they also lost running back Jordan Mason. He's now with Minnesota. Defensive tackle Javon Hargrave. Defensive end Leonard Floyd. Linebacker Dre Greenlaw, who we mentioned last episode. And then cornerback Charvarius Ward and guard Aaron Banks. So you hear that. They lost a lot of starters. If you're going through and counting, Debo's 1. Jordan Mason, last year, technically he was a starter. That's 2. Hargrave, 3. Floyd, not as much of a starter, but let's say 3.5. Greenlaw, that's 4, so 4.5. Charvarius Ward, 5.5. Aaron Banks, 6.5. You have a lot of starters that you lost from this 49ers team, so it is going to be, you kind of have to regroup really fast here if you're the 49ers. They brought in Bryce Huff, but as I mentioned, that was it. Mac Jones isn't coming in to start. He's not going to go play linebacker for you, right? He's going to be sitting on the sidelines waiting for Brock Purdy to get hurt. So
Hopefully not
they
too
definitely
gruesome.
lost. They lost more than they gained. Yes, hopefully not too gruesome. But they re-signed Brock Purdy to a 5-year, $265 million deal, which is why I think Mac Jones is going to be on that sideline a lot. Fred Warner, he's still there, obviously, so that's helpful.
Yes.
He gets a 3-year deal. And then Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the league, gets a 4-year, $76 million extension as well. So, Vinny, the 49ers, a lot of people, I think, just talking to people that I know, it seems like the idea is that this team is going to be automatically back to what they were before last year because, it was just because of the injuries last year, right? CMC was hurt. Now he's back. But I feel like a lot of people don't look into it like this where they don't see how many defensive players, especially, that they really lost.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost a bulk of their team, or at least their star players. I mean, a lot of them are gone. So this is really going to almost be like a reload year for them. And yes, try to do better than last year, but is a playoff push on the table for this team in 2025?
I mean, yes, but let's pump the brakes on them. Pump the brakes on them returning to being an elite team because they're just not. I mean, they lost a lot of guys, and the offense has question marks. Brock Purdy is a very serviceable quarterback. That's been the theme with Brock Purdy throughout his entire career. Is he goes in, he can fit into the system and just do what he has to do. Getting 5 years, $265 million is, for Brock Purdy, that's pretty steep in my opinion. But besides the point, he's going to be able to keep you in games and get the job done, but he's nothing special. Okay, he's nothing special. And the wide receiver room is kind of in shambles. I mean, Brandon Ayuk is out half the year, I think.
At least, yeah.
You have Ricky Pearsall, who had flashes last year. Obviously, George Kittle's there. He's awesome. What's the deal with Jennings? Isn't he hurt too?
Yeah, he's dealing with an injury. He might not even be ready to go week 1, but he'll probably be there week 2. He should be there week 1, but if not, he'll be there week 2. It's not an injury that's going to delay him very long. But yeah, I mean, he's had his own drama where at first it was the contract thing. He wanted a contract,
right?
And so it was it was like, dude, like you had one good year, like relax, pump the brakes on that as well. You know, it's like settle down, just go play some football for this team. They need all the help they can get at wide receiver.
He had like a couple good games. He didn't even have like a full like good year. He had a couple monster games, dude. Like chill, man. I mean, good receiver, but like we need to chill on that. But yeah, the defense definitely could take a step back. I mean, they weren't good last year. But the injuries obviously for this team have been the story. McCaffrey, I mean, he's the focal point of the offense 100%. He is healthy, so good.
Finally.
But you never know with him. It's like you're walking on eggshells talking about Christian McCaffrey. Yep. And I have him in multiple fantasy leagues, so hopefully he does come out and stays the whole year on the field because that would be good for him.
If he does stay healthy, I mean, he could be the number 1 player in fantasy. We've seen it.
100%.
So.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm not too excited about the 49ers. I think they're going to be better than 6-11 for sure. But as far as a playoff push, I think they're going to be right on that edge of, like, the last wild card team. And that everything has to go right for them, I think, to do that.
Yeah, so, I mean, for this season coming up, I actually have them, at 9-8. This is a team that I think is going to do better than they did last year. I don't think they're going to be able to sneak into the playoffs as a wild card team. Because, I mean, 9-8, it's one of those records where if teams around the league are doing really good, you're not going to get in with 9-8.
Right.
But if teams around the league are struggling, then you likely will get in at 9-8. And I think this is going to be a year where you're going to see multiple teams out of the NFC North, which we've seen a lot.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to see, I think, at least 2 teams out of the NFC East. Yeah. I don't think the Niners win this division, which means there's not a spot for them.
Right.
So it's very tough. I think they're going to be battling for, maybe even battling with, a team like the Falcons or the Bucks. Whoever doesn't win the NFC South, I think that's kind of their main competition for getting that 7th wild card spot.
I agree.
It's going to be who can have the better record, who can have the win-loss head-to-head, whatever it's going to be, point differential, to try and earn yourself that 7 seed. Because I don't think this is going to be a team that's going to go out and just win the division straight up and get into the playoffs comfortably. I think they're definitely going to have to battle for it, especially with all the injuries that they're going to have to manage throughout the season.
Yeah, I have them at 9-8 as well. I don't think that's going to get them in the NFC because I think there's going to be an NFC East team, an NFC North team, and an NFC South team in the wild card. And I think that's how it laid out. I think the NFC West is crazy to say because this division's been looked at as the most competitive, one of the best. I think they're going to be the division with a team left out. I think it's only going to be that one division winner that gets in. So, yeah, because I had the Falcons at 11 wins coming in second place. So
I didn't have them that. I think I had them at 9 wins. So
yeah,
definitely a little closer. But
yeah, 49ers not a playoff team, still a good football team and has the potential, has the ceiling if everything goes right and they all stay healthy to make a run. But yeah, I think 9-8 is a good prediction. Yeah. They're in the average range for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so why don't we move on over to our second team of the division, Vinny? Who are we talking about?
The Arizona Cardinals. Okay, the Arizona Cardinals, a team they've been waiting for that breakout, man, for so long, and it just hasn't happened for them. They were 8-9 last year. They were in first place for, I know, a little bit, I think, maybe very early in the season.
Was it them?
I think everyone was at one point in this
I
division.
I I feel like I recall a conversation on the podcast where we were arguing about the Cardinals or the Seahawks being better, and I was with the Seahawks, and you were with the Cardinals.
Yeah,
And so I think they definitely were. I mean, this was a very tight division last year.
yeah.
So they were probably all up there at one point in time. So I mean,
They were. I know they were in first place at one point in the season,
yeah,
but they did finish in third. They missed the playoffs. Jonathan Gannon is the head coach. I think he's going into year 2, maybe year 3. I'm not actually. I didn't write
no,
it down.
you
But
do. I think last year was his. I think last year was his first year with the team.
yeah, I know there was. I know there was kind of talks going around that he was a little bit like just.
He's a
lame,
bit strange.
Like
He's
not
a bit of a
hyped,
strange
like,
dude.
Yeah, so I don't know, but he's there. He's still there. Kyler Murray is his quarterback, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. Former Oklahoma Sooner, obviously, former baseball player. So all those things I love about Kyler Murray. He's short. I also love that about him. You got to give respect to the short guys out there.
Okay.
But he's there, and I mean he has looked at as one of the top prospects, like most potential, one of the most interesting guys, and he's kind of plateaued into that like middling range of quarterbacks in the NFL. So interesting there. Walter Nolan III, defensive tackle, he is their first round draft pick coming in. And who did they add? They got Josh Sweat in free agency, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson. So 3 pretty solid names there, and then a very unsolid name, Jacoby Brissett, the starter for the Patriots last year for a couple games. He's the backup quarterback, so interesting there. Who did they lose? Tackle Jack Barton, Tristan Colon, Dennis Gardeck, Julian Okwara, and then Kyrus Tonga, all out the door. So no like crazy names out the door. I think Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell are 2 pretty big names coming in on the defensive side, so that's good. And then Trey McBride, who is their star tight end, their young star tight end, he gets paid 4-year extension for him. And I mean, he was just kind of similar to Brock Bowers, like we mentioned. He kind of elevated himself into that top 5, top 3 tight end in the NFL range
100%.
last year as well. So he's a weapon for sure. You also have Marvin Harrison Jr. Looked at as top like 15 wide receiver in the NFL potential, like in his rookie year. Like people were very high on him, and he had a bad year last year compared to expectations. Disappointing is a better way to look at it. He had a few good games here and there,
especially early on. You saw it in like he week 1 was bad, and then he exploded.
Yeah, exploded week 2. I remember.
Yeah, I mean,
Maserati.
But then
Marv,
it just kind of
Maserati Marv.
just tapered off. He was just kind of nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
so you would expect that Maserati Marv would have a better year in
hope
year
so.
2. And that's kind of a big deal. You have, running back room is solid, James Conner, and then you got Trey Benson backing him up. So that's a pretty solid RB room. The offense is intriguing. I do like the offense. Behind Marvin Harrison, wide receiver room is nothing to write home about. It's nothing special. No. But Harrison, McBride, James Conner, Kyler Murray, those are 4 pretty solid names. The defense gets a little bit better, like I mentioned, with Campbell and Josh Sweat coming in. But this is still, it's hard to say that this is not going to be another mediocre year for the Cardinals,
Yeah, I mean, they just they didn't make any big moves that would point to them taking a step forward. Yeah. Like, it's kind of just the same old Cardinals that we've seen the past couple seasons where you have Kyler Murray, still a James Conner in the backfield, right? Sure, you have a good tight end and a good wide receiver, but what good did that do them last year? Not much.
Yeah.
Defense still mediocre at best. I mean, it's just the same type of team that we've been seeing the last 5 years.
Yeah. They've been stuck in purgatory for so long. It's like, it makes me wonder, like, if you're the Cardinals, why didn't you go after like a Devontae Adams or like another wide receiver, that could have helped you out, like a George Pickens, like some of these wide receivers that moved in the offseason, like why weren't you going after any of them?
Even a guy like Keenan Allen, he wasn't even on a team.
Sure, like Keenan Allen, like any of these guys, having another guy lining up on the other side of Marvin Harrison, just to take some of the pressure off of him a little bit, would work wonders for this team. And I mean, they're very up and down. Kyler Murray is, I hate to say it, but he's very inconsistent. He has these insane weeks, and then usually he has pretty bad ends to the season. Usually his final stretch of the season is pretty atrocious. He gets worse as the season goes on, which sucks.
Yep.
I mean, is Kyler Murray in the top half of quarterbacks in the NFL? Top 16?
No.
You don't think
I don't
so?
think so. I think he's
Wow.
outside of. 'Cause, okay, well, this is my thing. I think when I went through and looked, I think I had like Jordan Love at like 12 or 13. So
Well, obviously.
if Jordan Love's there, I don't think Kyler Murray is 3 spots behind him. Like I don't think he's in that next 3 spots behind him.
I think Kyler Murray's better than Jordan Love,
I don't.
personally.
I think that's a
you're
crazy
biased.
statement.
I think you're
I
biased.
think that's a crazy statement.
No.
If we put a poll up and asked who was better, I
I
think Jordan Love would win.
Okay. I think Kyler Murray's better than Jordan Love. I don't think that's that crazy to say.
We'll have to ask. We'll have to ask some of our buddies when I get back tonight. But well,
Yeah, our
I don't
buddies
know.
are gonna know. Our buddies are gonna
Jaden
know.
would know,
I think I know who Jaden would say.
not Kyler Murray.
Yes, he would.
No,
Jaden is
no, he would.
he is a Cardinals guy, dude. He loves Trey McBride.
Doesn't mean he loves Kyler Murray.
Well, okay. Besides the point, what do you think the Cardinals are gonna do for a record this year?
You know, I have this team doing very bad, and I
Crazy.
I don't know if it's because of just I was going through and just didn't like some of these matchups for them because like their schedule, it's not ridiculous. Like when I went through and I was breaking it down, it's not comparable to the rough schedules that we saw in the NFC East, the NFC North, even the NFC South. Like they might have one of the easier schedules division wise, like with who they're playing this year.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I'm just very down on this team. I have them going 5-12, Vinny, and
Wow.
that might seem a little harsh. But here's my thing.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Kyler Murray, we mentioned how inconsistent he's been. Marvin Harrison Jr. was disappointing last year. The defense is not anything special.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't see them stringing together enough solid performances to warrant me giving them anything better than 5-12. Like they're not going to go out there and face extremely tough teams. So even in the division, when they're facing teams like the 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Rams. I mean, the Niners and Rams, I think, beat this team.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Seahawks, I think it's a 50-50. So right away, you're struggling in the division. And then I think outside the division is only a little bit tougher, if anything, because we talk about this division being weak this year. So I don't know. I think 5-12, while it may seem a little bit harsh, I just can't explain to myself or prove to myself why they deserve anything better than that.
Okay. By the way, sorry I went mute for a second. I just put a poll up on our story, so hopefully we get a few responses before the
I
end
won't
of this
vote,
episode.
all right?
No,
I won't vote, and you
either.
won't vote.
So, Kyler Murray versus Jordan Love, who's a better quarterback? But anyway, I have them going 7-10. I think that's. I mean, they were 8-9 last year. That's way too good for them, right?
Yeah, I thought 8-9 was way too good.
They didn't get that much better or that much worse, as we mentioned. I think they get a game worse. I think they're gonna come down to earth. 7-10 is right where they belong. I do think Kyler Murray's a really good quarterback. I think he has a very unique skill set. But like I said, there's just not much around him. So, yeah, I like 7-10 for them. Not going to make the playoffs. Obviously, not going to really do much. The NFC West, the divisional games. I mean, you could flip a coin for pretty much every single one. Even when you're playing the Rams, I think any of these teams could beat any of the other teams in the division. So I have them winning a few division games. But yeah, we'll go with that.
All right. And hey, Kyler Murray's come out and said that he wants to use his legs more. So maybe we see more rushing from Kyler Murray, which is, you touched on that unique skill set. That's part of it. So we got to see it more. He doesn't do it enough as a guy who is very valuable as a rusher. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe that helps him. Maybe it makes it worse. I don't know. But
Yeah.
why don't we move on here, Vinny, to another one? I mean, this division, we're talking about teams here that just aren't very exciting. They don't have that it factor like we see in some of these other divisions. It's the Seattle Seahawks, and this is a team that did finish 10-7 a year ago, right? Second in the NFC West. I think this was a very good performance for them. Not really a team that you would go home and talk about being like one of the better teams in the conference, but they were just kind of coasting by. They were doing enough to get wins, and it resulted in a 10-7 record, which I mean they're more than happy with, right? So Mike McDonald now going into year 2. Last year was his first year with the team. I mean he did pretty good, 10-7, second in the division. I mean you're very happy with that. Projected starting quarterback, all right? We mentioned last episode Geno Smith is gone. He's with the Raiders now. It's going to be a guy who had a pretty good year last year with Minnesota. Okay, it's
Yeah.
going to be Sam Darnold,
Yep.
right? Is he going to repeat another good year? We'll have to see. We can touch on that a little more in a bit. But their first round draft pick was a guard out of North Dakota State, Gray Zabel. He should come in and start right away. In free agency, obviously Sam Darnold, but also Cooper Kupp being a very big ad for them, who will play alongside Jackson Smith and Najigba. And then defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence comes over, linebacker Ernest Jones, defensive tackle Jaron Reed, and then another punter
Oh my
tidbit here.
God.
They extended their punter Michael Dixon,
Yep.
so he's not getting moved like some of the other punters. They're locking him in to be their guy. Good for him. As for who left this team in the offseason, Tyler Lockett. All right, he spent over a decade in Seattle. He's gone.
Sad day.
DK Metcalf, their other
Sad
receiver,
day.
who's been there for a while, he's gone as well. And then one of their starting guards, Laken Tomlinson, who started every game for them last year, he's gone.
Yeah.
So they went out and got Cooper Kupp to try and replace Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, but they did lose some big pieces overall. So you have the wide receiver room now. It's JSN and really Cooper Kupp, and that's kind of what it's going to be. They did draft a tight end as well, Arroyo out of Miami, who should be a pretty solid option, especially after they traded Noah Fant away. So he's kind of going to be the feature tight end, but we'll see how he kind of develops into his own here in his rookie season. But Vinny, this is a Seattle team that I don't see being all that exciting this year. I don't think they're going to get back to that 10-7 record. I think they lost a lot. I think they lost a lot of talent. I don't think Sam Darnold is going to be able to play as well as he did a year ago. It's one of those situations similar to Geno Smith where we didn't see it their entire career. Mm-hmm. And then boom, he has this spike year where he's very good, right? And then similar, like mentioning Geno Smith again, after Geno Smith's good year 2 years ago, last year he kind of came back down to earth, right? Mm-hmm. Came back to what we were used to seeing from him, and I fear that's what's going to happen to Sam Darnold here. I don't know what you think about that. If you agree with me, if you disagree, what do you think?
I mean, I've openly come out and said I'm not a Sam Darnold believer. I'm not a Sam Darnold fan. I just don't really like him. I mean, I'm sure he's a good guy. I'm sure he's a cool guy. Like, nothing wrong with him. But last year was a complete fluke, and you got to remember, I mean, Sam Darnold is not going to have Justin Jefferson to throw to anymore.
No, that's true.
And JSN's great. Like, JSN, I think, is blossoming into a really, really good wide receiver in the NFL. But he's not Justin Jefferson. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is I think when you're talking about teams in the offseason, you have to try to weigh their gains and losses to see if they got better. It's tough to say for a lot of teams. I could confidently say the Seahawks got worse.
Yeah.
100%. I think quarterback got worse. Wide receivers got worse. I mean, you lose DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, who've been staples of this offense for years. They're both out the door. Cooper Kupp, Cooper Kupp's really good, but is he gonna be able to replace those guys? I don't think so. And he's also kind of in the twilight of his career, so I just don't love it. I don't love the offense. I think it's gonna be dysfunctional. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, the running back room's good though. That's the one thing I'll say. The running back room's good. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. Both really good guys there, but and DeMarcus Lawrence being on the Seahawks is going to look weird too.
Yep,
that's going to look really
strange,
weird. But yeah, I'm not a Seahawks believer. It seems like they're one of those teams. They're kind of like the Steelers in the sense that they always manage to be good enough.
Yep.
Like they always manage to be decent. It has been years since the Seahawks have been looked at as an elite team, but they're always a good team. And I think this might be the year where they finally dip below that and are like a mediocre team.
And I will say, I'll play devil's advocate here a little bit, just for fun here. So, the wide receivers, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, they've been with the team for so long, right? And never have we seen. Well, I mean, we saw it in the Super Bowl a while ago now, but the last couple of years, that especially DK Metcalf has been there as well. We haven't seen them, get over the hump and get into the playoffs and make a run. Right. So maybe, right, you say, okay, these have been the staples of the team, but maybe, just maybe, this is what they needed. They needed to get away from those guys. They needed to make a change, start something new where maybe, yes, this year is going to be a little rough, but maybe going forward, this is going to end up being better for them, where you allow JSN to become that true wide receiver one in the team. You allow guys to get built up around him, build a team around him. So, just playing devil's advocate, maybe that is something that they were going for, and they're not trying to strip away everything that they've built, but they realized that what they had wasn't going to get them a Super Bowl. And they said, you know what, let's try and reload a little bit. And I think maybe that's what they're doing here. So, you can see it both ways for sure. I don't think they're going to be very good this year, but, just having a little fun there and trying to play maybe from what they're seeing and what's going on in their minds there as to why they did what they did. But
yeah, good records. Jump into records.
With that said, let's jump into the records here. I mean, we both have them being pretty bad.
Yeah.
We actually have them with the exact same record, Vinny.
Yeah.
Why did you give them the record that you gave them?
6-11. I mean, they're good enough to win some games in the division, similar to the Cardinals.
Yep.
I do think the Cardinals are going to be better. So we'll bring this debate back. You think the Seahawks are going to be better. You had the Cardinals at 5 wins. So we're still staying put there on our opinions. But yeah, I mean, this is your typical, mediocre to bad team that's going to upset a few teams. They're going to play spoiler sometimes, but they're just got nothing going for them. Maybe Sam Darnold is legit. Maybe he is. Maybe he comes in and leads this team to the playoffs like he did with the Vikings. But you can't predict that. You just can't.
Yeah.
So I think 6 wins is right where they fall.
And yeah, I have them at 6-11 as well. And I mean, I wasn't even thinking about that, but to your point, if he does come out and ball, if Sam Darnold comes out and plays like he did last year in Minnesota, they probably don't jump up to a 10-win team, but maybe they jump up to 8, 9, where they're competing for that last wild card spot now.
Yeah.
Right? So I think, like you said earlier, the situation in Minnesota was much more favorable for Sam Darnold. So the fact that he played as well as he did with that team around him really allowed them to be elite. But here, if Sam Darnold plays as well as he did in Minnesota, the team around him, it just isn't they're not at the same level. So
Right.
Whereas in Minnesota, they went out there and they won 13, 14 games. I think here it's going to be, you play really well, but you're still only going to be 9, 10 wins at the absolute best.
Yeah.
Right. So
Ceiling's low for sure, in my opinion. But who knows?
Yep.
Maybe Sam Darnold can pull some BS like he did last year. But Connor, we have talked about 31 NFL teams. We have one more team left to cover, and that, of course, is one of my favorite teams. One of my favorite teams.
Here we go.
The Los Angeles Rams. Okay, they were 10-7 last year. They won the NFC West, and they made it. They upset the Sam Darnold-led Vikings in the playoffs, which was I enjoyed that for sure. And they ended up losing to the Eagles in a snow game in the eventual Super Bowl champions. So really a successful year for the Rams as far as I'm concerned. Sean McVay is the head coach. He's been there, always one of the
awesome coach,
one of the masterminds, one of the new era head coaches in the NFL, kind of that first guy of this new young era of head coaches. Really good guy there. Matt Stafford is the starting quarterback. He is projected to be ready to go week 1. He's dealing with those injuries like we've mentioned quite a few times. But everything I've seen is saying that he will be most likely out there for week 1. And they better hope so, because that's huge for them if he does miss time.
They did say that, yes, he's going to be there week 1. He's been practicing, so that's good. But they did officially come out and say that this is going to be something that is going to affect him throughout the season, that they're going to have to monitor it. They're going to have to do work on it throughout the season. So that's not a good thing, right? Because that means Matt Stafford is likely missing a game here, a game here, a game there. And it doesn't just, it might cost you wins, obviously, but it just messes up team chemistry as well.
Yeah.
You go from, maybe you start out hot, right? And you start the season 3-0 for the Rams. And then he's out a game because he's dealing with the back.
Yeah.
And now you lose that game. And then when Stafford comes back, things aren't the same. So you lose that game, and it takes you 2 games to get back to the same way you've been playing. So
yeah,
you want this guy healthy. You want him on the field every single game. And if he can't do that, this team changes really fast.
Matt Stafford's no spring chicken either.
No, he's not a spring chicken. He is not a spring chicken.
He's getting up there in age.
Oh, yeah.
So
love that reference.
Definitely something to monitor there. They did not have a first-round pick in this draft in 2025, but they did add a few notable names. Number 1, obviously we mentioned it already, Davante Adams. He comes over from the Jets, and he is going to slot in across from Puka Nacua to form one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL, without
100%.
a doubt. So
Yep.
definitely very excited to see that. We have some names here. How about David Quessenberry?
Offensive lineman?
Yeah. No, he's a tackle actually.
Offense, same thing, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I just wanted to be annoying. The center Coleman Shelton comes in. How about this name? Puna Ford. Puna Ford.
Wow.
Great name.
That's awesome.
And then,
2 O's, by the way, if you're wondering how that's spelled.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm telling our fans.
Okay.
If they were wondering how it was spelled.
Yeah, it's
2 O's.
Poona Ford.
Really cool.
He's
related
a Ram.
to Henry Ford,
Yeah,
Gerald Ford,
right.
maybe.
He's a Ram, so good for him. DJ Humphries as well. He's also a Ram. Who did they lose? Well, Cooper Kupp, we mentioned it. He's in Seattle. Demarcus Robinson, he's been there.
That guy he seems to like do one thing a year, and then he just doesn't do anything else.
Yeah, he does. But he knows his role at least. Jonah Jackson, Neville Gallimore, and Bobby Brown all out the door. So the Rams coming off, like I said, a successful year. I will mention, and I talked about these guys a lot, 2 very young players on the defensive side of the ball, Jared Verse and Cameron Kinchins, 2 studs that kind of turned this defense around because their defense was not very good for a long time. And these guys come in the draft last year and really performed very well, and they're staples. They're going to be there a long time. So the Rams, we got to talk about Kyron Williams. I love Kyron Williams.
Vinny's guy right there. His favorite running back in the NFL, I swear.
One of them. He's up there. You still have Puka, who has been awesome, dealt with some injuries, but when he's on the field, he's Matt Stafford's favorite guy. No doubt about it. Devontae Adams comes in. This is a good football team.
Yeah.
I think
very talented.
We're definitely in agreement that they're the best team in the division, but I think you have to start to look past that a little bit. Do the Rams have the star power to compete in the NFC as a whole?
If Matthew Stafford is healthy, then yes, I think they do.
Okay.
Right? I think they have one of the best young defenses in the NFL, and I think their offense matches with that very well. Obviously, not the age part, but having weapons all over the place. You mentioned the receivers, you mentioned the running back, and Stafford's one of the best, right, in the league. So, but again, it comes down to his health.
Right.
So if Stafford misses games, again, this is all dependent on him being on the field, right? This back injury, it sucks for him, for the Rams, for Rams fans, because you can't confidently predict that he's going to be healthy the entire season. You're going to do it, and you're going to say, okay, we're expecting him to be healthy. But when the team comes out and says that he's likely going to miss a game during the season because of it, or he's going to miss 2 games because of it, it automatically brings your mindset down to, oh no, we got to be a little bit worried about this guy. And it's Jimmy Garoppolo behind him, but you hear all the memes about him all the time. I saw a clip yesterday of him throwing the ball to Devontae Adams, and it was setting him up to just get absolutely rocked by the defensive back. So Jimmy Garoppolo, I think he is one of the maybe more reliable backups. He's had some. He's when it comes to backup standards, he's had some good performances throughout his time in the league. But you want Matthew Stafford on the field, so I think that's what it's really going to come down to for this Rams team. But if he's there, they can compete with just about anybody. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think basically exactly what you said. If he's healthy, they can make a run. But I still don't think they're in that elite tier in the NFC. I kind of think the Eagles and maybe the.
Say it.
I know.
Say it.
Maybe the Packers, man.
Yeah.
Maybe they're in a tier of their own, and the Lions. I'll throw the Lions in there too. I think those are the top 3. So
I agree.
The Rams aren't in that tier. Let's just put it that way. The Rams are not in that tier.
I'll say, okay, they're not in that tier, but I think they can compete with them. If it was a game against each other, they're not getting blown out. No. It's going to be a very tough game. We saw it with the Eagles last year in the snow game.
Yeah.
They were still right there.
And props to a team that plays in California in a dome for going and playing that hard in the snow. That's impressive. So why don't we get into records? So we mentioned they were 10-7 last year. You have them at 10-7 again this year. I have them one game better at 11-6. I think, I mentioned that any team in this division could beat any other team in the division. I do think the Rams will take care of business in the division, which is why I have them so good. And yeah, if Matt Stafford, say it again, if he stays healthy, this team can compete with any team in the NFC. So I think
100%.
I'm going bold here with 11-6.
Yeah, I think 10-7. If I knew Stafford was going to be 100% healthy the entire season, which obviously you could say this about anybody, right? But especially because he's been dealing with something and they have already spoken about it, I would probably give them another win or two if I could guarantee that he was going to be healthy, right? So 10-7 for this team, I think, is very fair. I think the defense is going to be absolutely incredible this year, and I don't think people are talking about that enough. I think you look at Puka Nacua, and that's like where your eyes go. That's where your mind goes when you talk about the Rams.
Yeah.
But very, very, very talented defense, and the coaching there is incredible as well. Sean McVay, obviously. So very high expectations for this team. I definitely think the division should be theirs, right? If there's no major injuries, like again, we're talking about injuries so much, but for the Rams, I think it matters more just because we've seen them already talk about their quarterback dealing with it. So you have to bring it up, you have to mention it. But if they're healthy, I think they should win the division, and then you just have to get into, like you said, Vinny, are they going to be able to compete with the best of the best?
100%. By the way, we have one vote on the poll, and they voted for Kyler Murray. So we'll see where this ends up at the end of the 24 hours. But in the first couple minutes here, Kyler Murray gets one vote. Jordan Love
he takes the early lead.
He takes the early lead. So we'll see.
I'm gonna go make fake accounts and just vote.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be on the hunt for that. I'll be flagging that down, and they will be invalid because that's just unfair. And don't vote with your personal account either, because I almost did, but I didn't.
I'm not voting. I said I wasn't voting.
Okay. Good.
Because I don't want to add my bias into it.
Yeah, and you are biased.
But it's not biased. I think he's
biased.
just better. It's not biased.
Dude, Jordan Love is not better than Kyler Murray.
That's crazy.
Not. It's not crazy.
That's crazy.
But anyway, all right.
I'm not even talking fantasy. I'm talking like
no, I'm
just
not
as
talking
like a
fantasy either. I'm talking as a quarterback. Yeah.
All right.
So, 32 for 32. We have completed our journey to talk about every single team in the NFL ahead of the season. We tried this last year. It failed so bad.
We weren't set up. We weren't equipped for this yet. But now we are.
Yeah, and we were in a rush to even get this done in time. I mean, we've been recording 2 episodes every time we recorded, which we've never done before. So we've been putting in the work to get you a team preview for every single team. So make sure to show us some love by hitting the subscribe button, hitting the follow button if you're on Spotify, following us on all the social medias. I mentioned this last episode. If you're not in the VinConn Sports Talk Pick'em, make sure to join that. I'm going to be putting another link on the story today and probably every day until the start of the year just to get more people involved. We're not the only ones picking games this year. We want you guys to be able to pick games with us. It's going to be on the ESPN Fantasy app. And make sure if you're in the league, you put the entry under your name so we know who you are. And to make sure you're filling out your picks every single week so we have a legit competition here. Because me and Connor never forget. So if you guys forget, if you guys are missing games, then that's
on
you.
That's on you.
It's on you. We're not here to babysit. We're not here to remind you. So make sure you do that if you're in the league. Make sure you just it's always the Thursday night games that people forget. So don't forget to do that.
They slip your mind because you're like, oh, I got till Sunday, and then Thursday comes around, you forget to vote, and you're sitting down in the first quarter, and you're like, oh no, I forgot to pick.
So, Connor, we've gone through all 32 teams. I'm going to put you on the spot. Super Bowl prediction. What 2 teams are going to be in it, and who's going to win right now? I know what you're going to say.
Packers beat the Bills in the Super Bowl, and I don't think that's too crazy to say, Vinny. What do you got? What do you got?
I want to say the same.
Oh. You all heard that. Everyone heard that.
Not.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say something different. All right.
So he wants to say that, but because I said it, he didn't want to give the same answer, so he's changing it.
We're going to go with, because I want this to be the year where something crazy happens. I don't want to see the Chiefs there. I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to do. I don't want to see the Chiefs there. I don't want to see the Bills there, even though I think the Bills are going to be there. All right.
Do it. Give it to me.
Broncos, Eagles. Yep. Broncos, Eagles. Oh my gosh. In
Who
the
wins?
Super Bowl. Probably the Eagles.
Okay.
The Eagles.
Well, shout out to Denver for getting there.
Shout out to Denver for getting there. They're going to beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium in the AFC Championship game. It's going to be absolutely electric. Bo Nix, ice in his veins. I mean, it's going to be crazy. Pat Surtain pick 6 in overtime to win it. That's my prediction. And Patrick Mahomes goes home crying, and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce get divorced. Or they call off the engagement after that.
I was gonna say they haven't even gotten married yet.
They call off the engagement. So that's my bold prediction for the season. But if we want to go realistic, I'm going Bills over Eagles. in the Super Bowl.
I thought you said you wanted Packers Bills.
No, I can't. Sorry, Jordan Love's not a Super Bowl quarterback. Sorry.
Bo Nix is? No hate.
Absolutely.
Do you think Bo Nix is better than Jordan Love right now?
Yes. You like
I
Bo
think
Nix
that's
too, so
I think that's closer than Kyler Murray.
I think
Bo Nix and Jordan Love are closer than Jordan Love and Kyler Murray, and I think Kyler Murray is worse than them.
I think Jordan Love is the most average quarterback in the NFL. That's if he is right at number 16, I think.
All right. I'll say this. When he's doing his little inconsistent BS, then
Right.
sure. Yes.
Correct.
But when in 2023 when he was on, he was incredible.
Right.
Like he was very good. If he plays like that,
But this is 2025 though.
yeah, but if he
We're
plays
not
like he did in
talking
2023, then he's a Super Bowl quarterback.
Right. Okay.
Right.
We will see.
We're gonna see we're gonna have to see what happens, Vinny.
Maybe
you never know.
You know what? Let's cut our losses. Let's go Packers Broncos as a group prediction. Packers Broncos.
I love that. Packers
Super
Broncos.
Bowl.
That's
would
awesome.
be a Super Bowl for
Oh
the
my
ages.
gosh.
That would be an incredible Super Bowl.
I might just have to go to that game.
I mean, we'll just dump out our whole savings and just take a trip there.
I don't think I have enough to buy a ticket. They're going for like $10K. Like what are we doing?
Where's the Super Bowl this year? Do you know?
In the
Super
USA.
Bowl 60?
It's in the USA. No, I think it's 59.
What do you mean it's in the USA? Of course it's in the USA.
Well, there's rumblings that it's going to be in England soon. Yeah,
It's in,
Roger Goodell.
It's in Santa Clara, Levi Stadium.
Roger Goodell wants to have a Super Bowl in England in the next 5 years.
That's the absolute dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Like that actually just made me mad. So first of all, you're gonna have the time difference. So what are we gonna have a Super Bowl at 9:30 a.m.? Like what is gonna what?
Yeah.
Second of all, all of these American football fans that want to go. Like imagine. Oh my gosh! Now you just set me off. Imagine there's a team that's like never been to the Super Bowl before, and there's this like 100-year-old fan that wants to go before they die to see their team, and they have to go to London. Like imagine like a Bills fan, for instance, they haven't made the Super Bowl since the 90s. Like imagine there's a Bills fan who's been waiting their whole life to see their team in the Super Bowl. They have to go to freaking London. Get the heck out of here. That's crazy.
The only people that are able to go to the Super Bowl anyway are celebrities. So
exactly. Which is a problem, and then you make it even harder.
Yeah.
By doing that. That's ridiculous, but I digress. It's in Santa Clara where the 49ers play, so.
Is it 59?
It's 60.
It is 60. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking 59.
Outdoor Super Bowl, which is interesting.
Yeah, but I mean,
usually you don't have those. You could have a Super Bowl, imagine it's pouring rain in the Super Bowl.
Man, that would suck.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
All the fans would freak out because they're all paying $20,000 to be there.
All
and
the
they're getting drenched.
Famous people that go.
They would freak out.
Yeah. Okay, enough of that. So we went on a little tangent there, but that's gonna wrap up episode number.
This episode ended like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. So if you guys clicked off, it's fine. We're just this is just us talking now, like how we normally would talk. So episode 53 is in the books. Next one is gonna be back to our regular scheduled previews and post-week recaps. There might be a little bit of different stuff going on, but we'll let you know. We will let you know when that happens. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening to all these team previews. We hope we gave you some valuable insight about what we think is going to happen in the 2025 NFL season. Connor, 3 days away. Let's do it.
3 days, man. 3 days. I'm stoked.
Happy September. Happy football season, everyone. Again, thank you for listening, and we will talk to you next time.